Welcome to the Heart of Giving. This program, as you know, is for the nonprofits, the people in our community that give of their time and their efforts, people that take care of us, and it gives our city the soul. That's why Long Beach is such a great place to be, because people do care about one another. And they say, when you give, you get more. And today we have a group that is outstanding in our community. And just talking a little bit about what they've done a few minutes ago, you'll be delighted to know what a wonderful asset this is to the city of Long Beach. Today we have the Disabled Resource Center with us, with Dolores Nason, who is the executive director, and Richard Hernandez, who is the what?
Systems Change Advocate.
Systems Change Advocate. Anyway, we're delighted that you're here with us. And Dolores, I'm going to start with you. Okay. Just tell us what this is. I mean, when you read what you do, you are a resource center. Now, tell us, like, when did you start?
1976.
Okay.
And we're just one of 28 independent living centers in the state of California. Mm-hmm. In fact, there's 6 independent living centers in Los Angeles County, because you know Los Angeles County is bigger than some states.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and the population that we work with are people with disabilities.
Now, when you say disabilities, that runs the gamut.
Okay, I think that we are the only agency in Long Beach that works with all disabilities, all ages, all incomes.
Hearing, sight, physical?
Everything, yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Now, like, tell us what?
Well, you know, whether you have a physical disability, whether you have a mental disability, whether you are blind, with hearing loss. In fact, hearing loss, I want to tell you, we just got our center looped, our 2 large conference rooms. And we, here again, we are the first agency in Long Beach to get our rooms looped. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that there's a T-coil behind people's hearing aid that they can just turn on, and when they do, they go into this room that's looped, they can hear just like everyone else.
Oh,
it's
my.
Amazing.
That's new?
It is new for Long Beach. Mm-hmm. Now they have, you know, most of the courthouses and like San Francisco, their buildings are all looped. In Europe, they're looped. We're kind of behind, but it's like a miracle. I have a person with hearing loss on my board of directors, mm-hmm. and she's the one that told me about it. So I went after a grant. I didn't get the grant, but I thought it was so important that I used my general funds mm-hmm. to have our rooms looped.
But tell us about the clientele that you have. You know, talk about someone who has a motion disability.
Okay. We have a computer lab, for one thing, that has the very latest of the technology, the programs to reach people with all disabilities. If mm-hmm. you are blind, you can use this. They have, what are some of the programs, Richard? We have JAWS.
Yeah, I should turn to Richard here.
Yeah.
Shall I turn to Richard?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Turn to Richard.
He's the source of all of
this. He is.
Okay. Well, Richard, you know, as I say, the word disabilities is so broad, and let's be specific. Let's talk about the things that, I mean, do you provide the ability for them to find a job? I mean,
yes.
what is it?
Yes.
We're an independent living center. So what we do is we help them. We want them to become and stay independently. That's what we want. We don't want them in an institute. We don't want them isolated. We want them living on their own,
okay.
making their own decisions about their own lives. So all our services are specifically for that purpose. And we do help with many different services that we offer. We do help you with apply for your benefits. If you want to apply for benefits, we help you apply for benefits.
Okay.
We have many support groups as well. We have co-ed support groups. We have a women's support groups. We'll have 8-week stepping stones to employment also.
And does the support group have the same type of disability as the person, or is it just all?
It's everybody.
It's everybody.
Everybody, yes.
Okay.
We also have in-home support services. If you want someone to come take care of you, you come to our agency, we'll sign you up for that. We'll give you the information that you need to apply for in-home support services. We also have a job, looking for jobs. We are job developers that help you if you do want to go back to work. If you want to try to work and you want to know how your benefits will be affected, we can explain as well as that how your benefits will be affected. Before I started working, I didn't know about independent living centers. When I started working, that's when I found out about them, and they're very helpful. They help me. I've come a long way. If you've seen me before, I have matured a lot thanks to independent living centers.
Yeah, well, tell us.
Okay, when
If you
I
don't
came,
mind.
sure, that's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
When I came to independent living center, I was living at home with my parents, and I didn't know what was out there for me. I went to Department of Rehab. They took me to training. They took me to school. After that, after they sent me to those places, then I got my certificate. Then I started looking for a job. I went to DRC. They were able to provide me with a job.
That's Disabled Resource Center.
Disabled
Okay.
Resource Center, DRC. And because of them, I was able to get out of my own house and get my own apartment, which was a big step for me because I have never been out of my house. So when I moved out, it was a big step. But thanks to DRC and their services, I was able to leave my house and get my own apartment. And then from there on, I kept growing with time. So from there on, I was able to get my own house. I was able to purchase the house with some of the programs. We have housing. So our housing coordinator told me some of the programs that are out there for people with disabilities or low income that want to be homeowners. So I applied for those benefits, and I was able to become a homeowner. And I'm very happy. I'm going on 4 years as a homeowner. I'm very happy. And about 3 years ago, I got married as well.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
Beautiful wife.
Oh, is that right? Did you meet her at the Disabled Resource Center?
No, but I did meet her at a clinic.
Is that right?
Yes. And I'm very happy.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good for you.
I'm a stepdad as well.
Oh, my.
2 beautiful children.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You
Your
know,
life has changed.
One of
It
the
has.
things Richard didn't say that he had never flown before. And so part of his job as the systems change advocate is he needs to go up to Sacramento and talk to the legislators and so he first time he went, he took his mom with him,
Oh,
and
yeah.
now he goes back and forth all by himself.
You don't
and
need that.
Yeah.
You can go alone.
He's great. Yeah.
That's wonderful. You know, so what I glean is that you are a resource center for resources.
Right. The difference, like we're not a sheltered workshop like Goodwill or, you know, we like Richard said, we give people the tools, the information that they need so that they can live
Independent
independently.
living.
Like I tell my kids, don't ever put me in a home. Call Connie. And Connie works at DRC. She's worked there for about 15 years. She has a list of attendants that will help you in your home. I have an interesting story. Our past board president is a quadriplegic, and he and his mother came to me 22 years ago, and I was doing cottage job at that time besides benefits, and he had just received an injury where he was a quadriplegic and he needed an attendant because his mom was working and just couldn't take care of him all the time. So I got him an attendant, and to this day he still has that same attendant. 22 years later,
Oh, my
that
goodness.
man finished high school. He went on to college and now he teaches in college.
Oh, my.
And this same attendant comes every morning, gets him up,
Ready?
so that he can go to work, and then she comes back in the evening and helps him so that he can go to bed. Otherwise, he lives independently, and she also brings him sometimes to our board meetings.
So you hear stories like that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yes.
And what a satisfying feeling that is to know that someone is living independently because of the knowledge that you have.
Yes. Yeah.
When you talk about the type of disabilities, is there some one thing or two or three things that are dominant in the number of problems?
Well, if you take the population that we serve, the majority of the disabilities are people with physical disabilities. And then next would be people with, I would say with hearing loss would be next. And then we have
Trauma.
yeah, trauma, head trauma. That's another big one. Especially the veterans coming back. You know, there's a lot of
Oh, yes.
head trauma.
And do you have volunteers helping you?
Oh, we have wonderful volunteers. We have a volunteer program. No one can volunteer at our center unless they go through an 8-week peer counseling training class.
They can learn just from that
Yeah.
how to live.
Yes.
And so when they get, after that 8 weeks, then they get a certificate, and then if we have an opening, they can volunteer at our center. We also train the volunteers for the Long Beach Main Library because we've helped them set up their equipment and their
Yes, and they're doing very well in
Yes.
what they offer for that.
Yes, yes.
So you have, and if somebody wanted to volunteer, they would get in touch with the Disabled Resource
Yes.
Center,
Yes.
and you'd put them to work in some
Right.
way. Well, that's wonderful.
We have a class that's just finishing up. They've got, I think, 2 more classes. And then in November, we'll have a new 8-week training class.
And how many people have you touched? Do you know?
Well, are
Or
you
do you
talking about
touch?
consumers?
No, I'm talking about clients.
Yeah, we call them consumers.
Okay.
And we do that because Department of Rehabilitation uses that terminology. I'm not particularly fond of it, but you know that's what we have to do because
Okay.
we're under their jurisdiction. We work with over 1,100 new consumers every year. And then, of course, we work with Reserve, but new consumers every year.
And so you do have some governmental help.
Yes.
Through the Disabilities Act.
Through the Department of Rehabilitation. The money is federal money, but it comes through the state, through the Department of Rehabilitation. Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, this is wonderful. I've just loved hearing what you're doing, and what a service. And I'm glad you're here, Richard, because you know you're a tribute to what they do. Do you feel
Yes.
that way?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do feel that way.
Yeah, just asking you questions. I mean, you were ready. I mean, you wanted to talk about it because you felt so enthused about it.
I'm happy working at the agency.
That's
It's a
great.
very good agency.
That's
And
great.
If we can't find the resources that you need, we could refer you
Great.
if we don't have
Well,
it.
thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here.
I
Thanks
just
so much.
want not only Richard, but I want to say that people's lives are literally changed by just walking through the door.
That's great. Good for, oh my, that's wonderful. What a good story. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
and thank you for
Conversation.
watching. Wasn't that wonderful? And it's something if you didn't know about, you should know about. We'll be right back. Welcome back. As you know, this program brings you the number of people in this community and representing the organizations that are nonprofit. And they are working to make sure that we have a quality of life and everyone has a quality of life. This next group is a special group. It started in the 1990s and it has a special mission called Long Beach Cares. Now that's pretty wide. We'll have to find out what that means. We have Iris Schutz, who's the president of the group, and Teresa Marino, who is the treasurer of the group. Welcome to you guys. Nice to see you. I've known both of you for a long time, so it's nice to see you in this capacity. Iris, you're the president. Tell me, what is Long Beach Cares?
Well, Long Beach Cares is a nonprofit organization that is a 501c3, and this means that we are able to be a fiscal manager for organizations that are involved with health for the city of Long Beach, especially public health. And it was established from the Department of Public Health.
Well, you know, this is just an aside, but Long Beach is this is one of 3 only
That's true.
in the whole
City.
state that has its own health department.
Yes, it is. Mhm.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is.
I just, you know, when I first found that out, I couldn't believe it. I think there were 5 at the time I first found it out. Now they're down to 3.
We are.
It's been 3.
Well, that's
It's been 3 for a
phenomenal.
long time.
But you are a support to them.
Yes, we
Okay.
are.
We are.
Continue.
Yes. And this is actually Long Beach Health Department, and Teresa knows more than I, because she was involved from the very beginning. And most of us are members, retired members of the health department, or people who have been on the Board of Health, and people who are aware and trying to make sure that the public is aware of the importance of public health, especially today when we see diseases that are affecting us, and we're seeing them in the paper every day about diseases that we are concerned about, and we need for people to be aware of the importance of having a public health department or public health arena that will take care of us. That's what we've just recently established our new strategic plan, and what we are trying to emphasize is that public health keeps people safe, and this is our motto.
But now that's your goal. What do
Yes.
you do to accomplish it? You want to start?
Yes, I'll
Okay.
start on that.
She can
Okay,
do it.
Teresa.
Over the years, and Long Beach Cares is 21 years old this year, and over the years we've done a variety of things to advocate and do health education out to the community, to inform people about the various programs, not only of the Department of Health and Human Services, but also various programs and functions of public health itself. We've sponsored public health fairs, we've sponsored children's health fairs, we've sponsored Public Health Week. We helped when, in our incorporating year, 1993, was also the year that the health department's facility on Grand and Willow was opened. And we were there to be the sponsoring
What year was that?
organization. 1993.
Okay.
Our same year as our incorporation, the new building for the health department was dedicated, and we were part of the group that helped host and sponsor the opening dedication ceremonies. We helped raise money for Children's Vision to the Sea, and at that time it was putting information about the ocean and ocean environments for children in the health department, because there was nothing on the walls in that new facility. So Long Beach Cares worked with a young man named Chris Katsouleas, who had worked in public service at the time, and he gathered a lot of people together to do, a lot of men who were deep sea divers and famous persons. He brought the Jacques Cousteau family to Long Beach and helped dedicate all of the photographs of underwater
I remember
photographs
that.
there.
They're still there.
They are still
They're
there.
beautiful.
And the Children's Aquarium to the Sea, the Vision to the Sea, is still there. We also worked on raising money for homeless families at the holidays so that they would have meals. We helped raise money for senior services when the city initially cut senior services out of the budget back in 1994. Jerry Shipsky, former council member Jerry Shipsky, was one of our founders also. And
She wasn't a council member then.
no, not at the
okay.
time.
No.
Not at the time. We were members of the Board of Health and Human Services at the time as volunteers. And we've done a variety of things. We now have scholarship programs. We are a fiscal agent. We're a 501c3 for many
And a scholarship, like for what?
for Long Beach City College students who are
Going into
allied health students.
Okay, so it's
So
for,
like
it's for people
nursing.
going into health.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
And then at Cal State Long Beach, we have a gerontology, a graduate student gerontology scholarship, and we have scholarships for the OLLI program, the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. We help with scholarships for older adults to take classes
And
there.
how do you raise your money?
We raise our money through the public. We did a major fundraiser last year for our 20th anniversary, and we honored significant
I think I remember
members.
that.
Yes,
Yes.
we honored Bill Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
We honored Dr. Paul Hartstein. We honored Dr. Deanna Bonta, who was the
That's right.
executive, who was the director of the health
At
department.
that time.
Yes.
And we honored the former city manager, Jim Hankla, and the Port of Long Beach for its significant programs that it was doing to promote environmental.
And these were people that gave impetus to what you do.
Exactly. They-
Okay,
So
so you,
promoted public health in the city of Long Beach.
so you don't get any government money.
No.
No, we don't.
What you do is raise funds through fairs.
We raise money through fundraisers, not fair, mostly dinners.
Okay.
And then we also we have written grants. We've received
Okay.
grants like from the California Wellness Foundation,
Okay.
the Archstone Foundation.
Yes, we have a large one from them.
Okay.
We've managed grants through them to do various programs, or we're a pass-through. We're a 501c3 pass-through, so that organizations that are not nonprofits work with Long Beach Cares to have the grant come through to them, and we oversee the management of the funds,
see.
and they do the good work in the community.
And do you have volunteers that help you?
We are an all volunteer organization.
So
of
it's
us.
all
We're
volunteer.
only volunteers.
And what do your volunteers, other than the two of you, do? What are their tasks?
organize the activities that we're going to be doing
I
in the
see.
community, and all of us interview different people that are movers and shakers for the city of Long Beach to make them aware of the importance of having a health local public health department.
And so that, like, in let's talk about a health fair. Do you have where they can have their blood pressure taken? And I mean, is that a health fair?
Yes.
That's the
Yes,
first
they
thing I
are, but
think
we
of.
don't. We are not doing these things. We're really just overseeing them. We're almost.
But you're
like-
organizing it so that these people can come and do what they do.
Well, you know, I was thinking of it the other day. Just as they have like Friends of the Library, we're kind of like Friends of the Long Beach Health Department in a sense.
So everything you do is for the health department.
Well, or for public health in general.
Yes.
The
Yes.
promotion of public health.
And what have you noticed in your operation that is in our area the most needy, health-wise?
I would say that right now there is a public health crisis going in terms of immunizations.
That's a huge issue.
Many families and many parents are thinking that they do not need to immunize their children. And we're seeing the emergence of whooping cough, measles, and other infectious diseases that were completely eradicated now are emerging again in the community and causing problems because these children that are not immunized are passing on these diseases on to other children who aren't immunized, and it's become a serious issue. Another thing we're seeing is West Nile virus.
West Nile virus.
This is summer. Mosquito population is on the rise. There's stagnant water. Even though we're in the midst of a drought, we've had 2 deaths in the area now from West Nile virus, from the bite of a mosquito.
To children?
In adults.
In adults.
They were in
These are
adults.
adults.
These are in adults. And so public health is doing its best to get the word out to folks to remove any stagnant water, would be like bird baths, water fountains, potted plants that have stagnant water.
And washing their hands.
Washing the hands is the
Always
number
important.
one. That's the number
that's what
number
they're
one
saying.
preventive measure to stop the spread of any kind of infectious disease or infection. You'll see it now. Hospitals have it everywhere. You come into buildings now and they
Oh,
have
yeah,
those.
they do.
They have the sanitizing.
Oh, yeah.
units.
Sanitizers everywhere.
That is the number one easiest and most preventable method for stopping the
Hospitals
spread.
have them every turn.
Yes, they do.
West Nile virus, though, is really it's quite frightening. Recently, I mean, I think this is the thing that public health can be on the aware of it and do something about it, because now we're seeing that 80% of the mosquitoes in Orange County were infected. That is horrible.
My goodness.
I mean,
Have they had more of an outbreak in that area?
well,
than
if it's
we
there in
have?
Orange County, you know it's here too.
Uh-huh.
And
I see.
so it was recently announced this large number of mosquitoes are infected with this virus. And this means that when people, many times when you get bitten by a mosquito that has been infected with West Nile virus, you won't be sick. But sometimes people
And do you have programs like specifically for these things that you get, your organization tries to tell the public?
Make people aware of it. Of course, the health department is the one that is doing
Right. The
hard
health
work of it.
department has a program called Fight the Bite. It was a real cute brochure that went out to the public, and it was something that caught people's eyes and attention. It had a little mascot and the slogan. Another thing that we've done to educate the public about the importance of public health and the health department and having our own jurisdiction here in Long Beach was in 2012, we put out a publication called the value of
economic.
public health, the economic value of public health in Long Beach.
Absolutely.
And we were able to, with that document, go out to business groups, neighborhood associations, the volunteer organizations, the Rotary, the Kiwanis, and others, and bring this brochure with us, give presentations on it, and show that for every dollar that is spent on public health, whether it's federal dollars, state dollars, what comes in, $100 of value is given back to the community through the work
Wow.
and through the professionalism.
By keeping
through-
healthy.
Yes.
And through other grants that come into the community, because the health department and public health in Long Beach uses 1% of its grant comes from general.
Yeah.
Its budget
Yeah,
comes
I
from
know
general
that from
fund.
being
That,
mayor.
that's one of the special things about that, because
yeah.
when I was involved,
Yes.
to know that we had one of the biggest offerings in our community
Yes.
that was not something we funded totally.
Yes, very little was
yeah,
funded locally,
Very little
yes.
funded.
Yes.
So, well, if you want more volunteers, I hope they come and tell you we want to volunteer. And
Thank you.
I know the two of you have worked so hard for so many years for the public health, and you know it's becoming more of a problem, it seems. And a lot of this seems to start in the east, and then it finally gets to the west
know,
coast.
I know.
Yes.
So we have to be prepared for
We do
that.
have to be
so
prepared.
when we find out what's happening
Yes.
in the east, know that it's going to someday
Yes.
hit us too.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
thanks.
and one of the things that folks might want to do is we do need more board members to
Okay.
volunteer.
All right,
So-
if you're interested in that, we'll keep
Anyone
that in
who's
mind.
interested in public health is
very good.
very
Well,
welcome.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Morgan
You've
Beverly.
got your hands full, and
Yes,
I
we
think
do.
public health is really key to our future because
It
of
is.
the economy and just because of the health of our people. So
Yes, it is.
thanks so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you, Mayor
Beverly.
Beverly.
And we've had two good segments today. I hope you've learned a lot, because the people that are doing this because they care about us. They care about their city. And if you want to be involved, you can get in touch. Thank you so much for watching.